Everyone, my name is Joseph Smith, and today I am going to demonstrate on how to make a stamped leather belt with the stud designs. I make these belts for powwow dancers and women, more of a fashion for like with the ribbon skirts and stuff. And so I started my own business about 8 years ago. And I do have work in Spain, Canada, Mexico, and all over the United States here. Okay, so the first process, I buy all my leather at Tandy's, and it's a side skirting for a saddle, and it's pretty big. So, and I gotta cut one strip out of the saddle skirting. And so what I do, I clamp it down to a big table just like this, and I would use a clamp, and I use a yardstick, and I clamp that down. And I use this rotary cutter. It works perfect to cut through the leather. And I cut my strips. I gotta take my time. You cannot, once you cut, you cannot, erase, you can't undo it. So, once you have that done, I use a leather dye, which you can buy at a saddle store, online, or at Tandy's. I do that, and my first step that I do, I have to make my lines right here, and this is a wing divider, and I filed it down so it's sharp. It leaves indents on the mark, or on the leather, and I just run along. I'm usually on the table here, but I'll run along, and that'll make a line here that I could, basically a guideline. So I do that, and then I find the centers of the belt. So it's the middle here, and then the two other middle parts. And then that tells me where the stud designs will go. Kind of depends on the person ordering. A lot of families do have their own their designs or specific animals that they would like to use. And so this one was for an order, a lady out of Washington, and her new beadwork was deer, and she wanted a rose on there. She actually sent me a picture of her beadwork. And so how I did that to carve into the leather, you use a swivel knife. You just hold up here. You just kind of press down. You pretty much do anything. Letters to pretty much anything. So that's what I did there. Okay, the next process is, I usually start with the border first. I kind of like to see the studs on there. These are brass, a 2-prong. They're very small, and they get smaller than this. They have many different sizes. And so I start with the border, and I use a stud setter. This is a bigger one. So what you would do, put your 2-prong brass stud in here, and it sits in there. And then what you do, you go along, you have your guideline, and you just hit. It gets noisy. I turn on my music. I get the borders done. Next thing I do is the stud designs. And it could be any kind of stud designs, The more studs, the more you get to charge. So it's kind of good. And once I get the stud designs down, I put the stamp, whatever kind of custom work they would like. Okay, once I get that down, then I start adding the detail, and I start stamping. And here are some stamps you could buy anywhere, online or in Tandy's. And I do that, and then I use a little bit of a darker dye to bring out the florals and the animal. Once I get that done, then the next process is to cut the straps, your belt straps, and for the buckles. I do all the holes. I do all the holes myself. And here is a hole puncher, a custom hole puncher. Has many different sizes here. And I don't have the rivets on me. I need to re-up on my supplies, but you use the rivets, and that's what holds the straps down. They're not gonna go anywhere, you know. People are dancing with these or wearing them conferences or whatever. And the next thing to do is to fill in the detail. So I did the stamp work. Now I gotta fill in the little parts, the little extra details here. And that's what I did here to make the belt look full, more complete. If there's little blank areas, it's gonna look funny, kind of look half-assed, I'll be honest. And yeah, that's, oh, the last part. I use a leather conditioner, and it has beeswax in it. And so I would use an old cloth, and then you lather the belt, and it absorbs it, and it makes it a darker color. And it also makes it waterproof. Me, I only dye the outside of the belt. Because on this side, a lot of the dancers, the women in particular, they have buckskin dresses. So you do not want to get the leather dye on your buckskin. That's going to be a pain to get out. Yeah, so this conditioner, it makes the belt waterproof. And a good thickness, you want a good thickness, and it's going to last forever. And that is pretty much it. Thank you.
Thank you.